Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today, I am playing a very powerful yet budget-friendly deck that I think you could use on the ladder to rank up to Mythic this season. Before I talk a little bit about the deck and tell you how it works, please help the channel continue to grow, sub up, and more importantly, leave a comment down below. Would you like to see more budget-friendly content? I think it's no surprise to anybody who's been playing Magic lately that the amount of cards that they're putting out in Standard is kind of crazy, and a lot of those cards are really increasing the overall power level of Standard. Power creep is kind of out of control, and a lot of those cards are coming out at Rare and Mythic. People's wallets are being pushed to the limit these days, and a lot of us don't have the wild cards to craft every top deck that suddenly pops up. But what if we could play a deck that is very competitive and very powerful that only has 8 rares in it and also has the option to not use those rare cards because we have some pretty decent common and uncommon substitutes. So what we're doing here, mono white auras, we have stripped away the second color, and that has allowed us just to play 20 planes. We don't have to worry about getting any dual lands for this deck whatsoever. Now, outside of a Most Helpful Weaver and Spellbook Vendor, two very good cards. In fact, I would say the Most Helpful Weaver is probably one of the most powerful cards in the deck. But besides these two cards, everything else is common and uncommon. This deck works very simply. We know Optimistic Scavenger, very powerful, uncommon card. I absolutely love this card. Every time an enchantment enters the battlefield or a room unlocks, we get +1/+1 on target creature. We get a counter on them. Then we are playing a couple copies, 4 copies of the Veteran Survivor. This is pretty cool because it is incidental graveyard hate, but at the same time, if you do this 3 times, it becomes a 5/4 with hexproof, something that could be very difficult for the opponent to get rid of. In addition, we are playing 4 copies of the Wonder Weave Aerialist, a 2/2 for 2 with ward, and it has flying as soon as it's modified, and it's going to be modified in this deck. The rest of the deck is a bunch of auras. We have Ethereal Armor, uncommon. Seam Rip, great removal, especially against Badger Mole Cubs these days. Uncommon. Shardmage's Rescue, one of the most powerful 1 CMC auras that I think I've ever seen. Feather of Flight, not bad. It's the weakest of the auras, but still it draws you a card. It has flash. It gives something a little bit of power, and it has flying. And then Sheltered by Ghost, an insane aura at 2 mana. It does so much. 1/1/0, lifelink, ward 2, exiles a creature or a non-land permanent, not even just a creature. This card, I can't get over how absolutely ludicrous Sheltered by Ghost is. Now, a Most Helpful Weaver, I would highly recommend you put it in the deck if you have the rares to use. This card is just bonkers, and in fact, in the Orzhov Battlefront deck, this card is also very powerful. It creates a 2/1 green spider, it puts a +1/+1 counter on a creature we control, and then it gives something double strike. It's also an enchantment, so it's going to be triggering our Optimistic Scavenger. It is essentially a 16th creature in the deck. Then we have our Spellbook Vendor. This is a card actually I had to craft myself, and I think it's probably better to craft the Most Helpful Weaver over the Spellbook Vendor. But the Spellbook Vendor is very powerful. You put it out, it's a body on the field, it has Vigilance, so it's pretty good to load up, especially with First Strike if you put the Ethereal Armor on it. And then every turn at the beginning of combat, we can just pay 1 and we get to put another enchantment on the field. This enchantment pumping up our creature and scrying us when the creature attacks. It's also going to trigger our Optimistic Scavenger, and it's going to be making our Ethereal Armors bigger. Now, let's say, though, that you don't want to invest in a Most Helpful Weaver and Spellbook Vendor. Well, what can you do for uncommons and commons? I would say that the Armored Armadillo is probably a pretty good 1 CMC creature replacement for either of these creatures. It has Ward 1. It's a good creature to load up with Ethereal Armors in that. It's vulnerable, but it's still okay. Grand Entryway is another really good enchantment to put on the field. When you do this, you're going to create a 1/1 white glimmer enchantment creature. This means that this is going to trigger your Optimistic Scavenger twice, because you get 1 trigger for the Grand Entryway and then 1 trigger for the glimmer that enters. And then if you do unlock the Elegant Rotunda, sure, you get to put a +1/+1 target on up to 2 target creatures we control. Another one that I think is a little bit less powerful, but it's an option if you want to try running it. We can play Serena. During your turn, Serena has flying, and then when Serena enters, you search your library for an aura or equipment card, reveal it, then put it in your hand. So it goes and fetches a aura spell. It could be very good if you need to find a Shelter by Ghost. It's hiding at the bottom of your deck. Hey, Serena seems pretty good. So overall, I think I like where White Auras is. It's not the most powerful deck, but it is a good deck to be running in Standard right now. And more importantly, it's only going to cost you, I would say, 4 rares. I would say a Most Helpful Weaver is very important to this deck, and I would say that it's almost a non-negotiable. It's just such a good card. Whenever I play a deck that has a Most Helpful Weaver in it, this is an all-star card. The Spellbook Vendor, you could leave it aside. But if you really like the deck, I think spending another 4 rare wildcards on it to get good at this deck and grind some games on the Standard ladder doesn't sound too bad to me. So that's this one. We're going to jump into some games, see how they play out, and whether or not this budget-ish friendly deck has the legs to climb the ladder or not. I think it will do pretty well. See you over in the games. Okie dokie, let's find out how well a budget-ish friendly deck can do in a meta where things are very clearly out of control and so weird. Our opponent on black. Black is going to be a little bit of a troublesome thing for us. Ooh, duress. So they take the Sheltered by Ghost, probably. Yeah, why wouldn't you? And we hit our land. That's fine. So Optimistic Scavenger to the field, and let's hope things work out. While the opponent's destroying my poor Scavenger, sub up if you haven't done so yet. I appreciate all the new people that are helping the channel grow. And also, let me know down in the comments, how do you feel about Standard these days? Are you thinking that the game's in a good spot, or are you lamenting where we're at right now and kind of wondering why you even bother playing this format? That's certainly not the case with me. No, I'm super happy about Standard and enjoying every single second that I play of this format. Okay, opponent, what do you got? Jay Lashto. They are up to potentially 4. There's their 4 mana. 2 Demolition Fields. Not going to be very effective against our planes. I have to assume that the opponent is, well, okay, fine. I guess I'm going to get rid of that. I got to assume that the opponent is on the ramp into Ugin plan. That seems to be the case, right? But you know what? This looks pretty good. Let's make, you know what? Let's push as much damage as we can. This is probably a little bit greedy, but I think that's what we're going to do. So Most Helpful Weaver, they need a pretty huge card here. I am going to be greedy. I'm going to put, you know what? No, I can't be that greedy. I'm going to put this on that creature. So we'll put the +1/+1 counters on the Optimistic Scavenger. We will put the Ethereal Armor onto the Spider, and now we get double strike next turn. They're down to 8. They have 1 card in hand. They have 2, 4, 6 mana. 6 mana is a lot. It could be a board wipe, and instead it's not enough. So there is an okay start. Honestly, though, we could have very easily lost this game had this card been the board wipe, the 5 mana black board wipe that I'm forgetting the name of, because then they could have just leveled up the Bandit's Talon. They would have kept draining us. We would have had a hard time finding another creature, and we would have been toast. So not the most convincing win off the hop, but a win nonetheless. Game number 2, Iroh showing up. I wonder how long it's going to take for me to get my face bashed in by a Craterhoof Behemoth. My opponents seem to be pretty good at finding their turn 1 Llanowar Elf into turn 2 Badger Mole Cub, and I am not so good at that. Hey, we find a Seam Rip, though. That's pretty great. So Seam Rip can potentially start putting stuff in, or not putting stuff in the graveyard, what am I saying? Remove some of these annoying things that the opponent might be putting on the field. The Veteran Survivor does get to eat something, the Fabled Passage over here. If the Veteran Survivor eats 3 or more cards, it gets +3/+3 and hexproof. It wasn't a turn 1 Llanowar Elf, but it was still a Badger Mole Cub on 2. So we basically have no choice but to smack down the Badger Mole Cub. And then, do I Ethereal Armor up the Veteran Survivor just to put a little bit more damage through? I think it's fine. Sure. We gotta kill them before they kill us. They're obviously speed racing to a pretty good board state. That's what this does. We're going to have to hold this Shelter by Ghost for the inevitable Ouroboride on the next turn. Badger Molcob Part 2. Now I'm thinking I hit the... Oh, if they don't have a follow-up land... Hey, it's food for... Oh, the opponent was smart enough not to do it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do this on the Badger Molcob, even though I would... Oh, thank gosh. Thank gosh. Because it cuts off a lot of their mana, of course. That's the big thing. And I think you can't leave a Badger Molcob on the field. As much as I would like to use the Shelter by Ghost on the Ouroboride, which they might be able to put out next turn if they have the 4th land in an Ouroboride, they would have had to tap everything down, and then they would have had a... They would probably had to chump block the Survivor with the Ouroboride is where my head was at. Because we were going to go Veteran Survivor, putting the Shelter by Ghost on that, eat that. Shardmage is probably this turn to push at least 5, 6, 7, 8 damage, and they would have had no choice but to block with the Ouroboride. So go away, Badger Molcob. Okie doke. Game number 3. I want to get through these games fast because it's almost lunchtime, and I think I'm getting some sushi today. I'm pretty excited about that. Sunday sushi, and then go for a nice old long walk, stretch my legs. Okay, we're gonna seam rip the Llanowar Elf, and it kind of sucks that we're not seam ripping a Badger Molcob because apparently everybody has Badger Molcob on turn 2. But at least we take out the ramp there, and then we can eventually hit the other Badger Molcob with the Shelter by Ghost. No, it's not. Wow, crazy. Okay, let's instead put the Wonderweave Aerialist onto the field. I think that's probably better than the Most Helpful Weaver and Spellbook Vendor. If we end up finding the Optimistic Scavenger next turn, it's going to be a fantastic... Of course, we want to find that. There's absolutely no question. We want to go Plains, Optimistic Scavenger, and play out whatever one of these 2 CMC spells is going to suit us best. They are on Gruul. Hey, there's the Badger Molcob. Look who showed up. And they have now 4 more mana to do something. Ouroboride on turn 3? No, it's a Tyvar. Okay. So now I think I have no choice but to hit the Badger Molcob. Ugh. Do I hit the Tyvar, actually? Yeah, bad card. So if I hit the Badger Molcob, they're still going to have 5 mana, but that doesn't really do much. I think instead it absolutely has to be the Shelter by Ghost on the Badger Molcob. It slows them down a little bit. If they have the Ouroboride in one of their last 2 cards here, just going to have to suffer through it. Sometimes they have it. We have good interaction, but they're going super wide. Interestingly, while I was playing a different deck, I ran into the mono white Auras deck, and they were playing split up, which, yeah, why not? I think, opponents are going so wide these days that maybe that is something that we need to start thinking about doing. Okay, so they can hit us for 6 instead of 5. Oh, it's getting plus. I always forget it. I don't know why in my head I think that this card is like make the creatures XX, and I always make that mistake. Okay, so we're going to go with the Feather of Flight because this is going to draw us a card, and we don't draw well. So this time we have to go with the Most Helpful Weaver, and I think it's fine to attack in because I'm not blocking with the 4/2. It's going to be way too vulnerable. And we gain a little bit of life, but we might just be dead to this Tyvar. We need to find a way of dealing with it. Am I going to have enough damage to kill them in 2 turns? Yes. But I think we're dead in 2 turns, right? Okay, they're coming in for lethal. No, they're 1 short. So do I block with... No, we don't block. Because if we hit an Ethereal Armor, I think we actually kill them. No. Okay, so we need to put the +1/+1 counter on the Wonderweave Aerialist. That's a non-negotiable. I think I have to Spellbook Vendor. I think I have to Wonderweave Aerialist. And I have to use my... Is it better to get the Sorcerer's Roll on the Wonderweave Aerialist, Or is it better? Yes. No, we have double strike next turn. Is it better to put out the veteran survivor to mitigate damage? I think it's better to do that. Okay, so we attack, we gain 5 life, we're up to 6, and then we put out the veteran survivor. So now we're in full on chump blocking mode. We have the helpful weaver to maybe give double strike to our aerialist to finish off our opponent. If they go with the Tyvar pump one more time, I think we're okay. Please do the Tyvar pump. Don't have... Oh, they might leave the Leyline Weaver back now. It has reach, right? Gene Pollinator, not a big deal. Gene Pollinator, not a big deal. So they've drawn as poorly as we have. We do not have a trample enabler in this deck. So what we would need is not a land. That's awful. So do they have the mana to pump? They do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have exactly enough mana to pump up their thing. So I actually can't even attack in profitably. So what I probably need to do is put this on this Wonderweave Aerialist. It gains double strike. We're going to put the Spellbook Sorcerer's Rule on this new Aerialist. It's going to be enhanced. And then we attack in for not lethal. Why did they scoop? Why? That is this an example of Badger Mole Cub opponents being like, I didn't hit my thing, so I'm going to scoop up? They certainly have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. They can definitely Tyvar pump. Everything is going to be very powerful. I was just doing this to get a scry, honestly. And I wasn't going to attack in. I was toast. Legit champ. I think I don't see a world where I could have won here. Weird. Did they not know the Leyline Weaver has reach? I really want to have a conversation with my last opponent to know what was going on there, because I don't think I had it. Opening hand looks okay. We got our Seam Rip. We always want to have your Seam Rip on turn 1 because, well, we know. I feel like a broken record every time I'm saying, gotta kill the Badger Mole Cub, gotta kill the Badger Mole Cub. It's a kill on sight card if you don't do... Oh, opponent's going down to 4, going down to 3, going down to 2, going down to 1, going down to 0. Yeah. Oh, our opponent, poor opponent. Yep. I don't know. No, this doesn't count. Next one. I don't want to harp on the opponent too much because I've been in that exact same situation. When you're playing best of 1 and like you mulligan down to 6, it's like, oh my god, it's actually worse. You mulligan down to 5, you don't have any lands. You mulligan down to 4, it's all lands, and you're like, you know what? I'm just not going to play this game. And then what you sometimes do is you just keep scooping or keep mulliganing down to 0 or for 1, and it's a funny thing. Do you think they give us the Optimistic Scavenger here? Let's find out. Or give us the Llanowar Elf. I don't think there's any world in which they block. Nope. So we're going to go out with our Spellbook Vendor. And next turn, then we're going to take advantage of having 2 Scavengers on the field, the Spellbook Vendor as well, and start trying... Man, how many times can my opponents go Llanowar Elf into Badger Mole Cub? And why couldn't I do that when I played it? Why? It seems... You know, the way your opponents play the Badger Mole Cub deck makes it seem like it is the craziest, most immortal deck ever to exist, right? Okay, we are going to push some damage, but I'm probably just dead here. Isn't that crazy? Like, this is an awesome start from our deck. It is a really good start from our deck. We're going to have 2 5/5 attackers, sure. Let's do that. Granny and the Optimistic Scavenger getting in. We get to scry, absolutely keeping the Shelter by Ghost. And it's possible that we could sneak something off here, but they have 6 mana, potentially 7 mana. I don't think they'll have 8 mana, so I don't think I'm getting hit by a... What? Did they have a land on the top? Oh, okay. Shelter by Ghost. God. It's a God card right now. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. 64. No haste. Guess what? This time around, we have it. Let's put it on this one. A friend of mine actually asked me, have you been seeing people play the landfall deck with the Badger Mole Cub? And honestly, no, not too much. Let's put that there. This is pretty sweet. Look at this. And we attack hard. Double Scry. Ooh, most helpful Weaver. Oh, it's so kind of close. I don't think I don't do I want it? No, I don't think I want it. I don't think I want it. They're great cards, but they're not good enough. We might actually just be able to win here. I don't know how they block. We do have the Shardmage's Rescue. The Shardmage's Rescue is representing another 3 damage. Yeah. Yeah, pretty rough position for the opponent. Having the Shelter by Ghost, I mean, it's insane. But you need it. You need it in the format because everything else is so insane. Next one. Game number, I don't know, at this point, because we had that weird game. We're 5-0 with the deck currently, but we did have that weird one. So it's kind of like 4-0. Yeah, this looks great. Hello. Hello, opponent. Okay. Not as great as it could be. We're going to need to find probably one more land. And you always want to have the Optimistic Scavenger off the start. Oh, I'm so tired of it, actually. Okay, Wonder Weave Aerialist to the field. Do they have it one more time? Llanowar Elf into Badger Mole Cub? Because I'm telling you, everybody has it. Oh? Oh? Opponent being kind of a Giga Chad whenever you put... Okay. Okay, now I don't know what to do because do I want to... Oh, they're going to slam Ouroboride next turn. But if they put Ouroboride on the field, we need to hit it with the Shelter by Ghost. But do I hit the Llanowar Elf now and slow them down by 1 turn? That's what I'm thinking. You know what? I'm going to go this way because the amount of damage that I'm actually going to be able to put onto the opponent is quite a bit this turn. And I don't know, maybe we can kind of kill them before they can actually get things going. This has Ward 4. I don't think a mono green deck is going to be able to do anything with that. I wonder if I'm going to regret taking the Llanowar Elf here. Okay, they have 2 mana left. Oh, I love it. Terra Symbiosis, putting the +1/+1 counter on the land actually triggers that. I didn't even think about it. Of course they had the Badger Mole Cub. It came 1 turn late, but of course they had it. Paw Patch Recruit. So they're loading up the field nice and wide. We're going to go with the Helpful Weaver. And I think we're going to go with the draw. I think this is the play. Do as much damage as we possibly can. Shardmage's Rescue is going to be okay. We actually have lethal on them next turn. So we just have to not die. They have 2, 4, 6 mana. They don't have a Crater Hoof for us. If they play down an Ouroboride, doesn't matter. It's not going to be good enough. Good. Man, the problem with the decks right now that I have is like every deck is so cookie cutter. Standard, still not healthy. Worse than VV Standard? I don't know. Maybe. Next one. Let's see if we can keep this winning train going. We're actually climbing up a little bit. Man, you see Sheltered by Ghost and you just got to keep it. You know what? I'm actually kind of impressed with the Spellbook Vendor, especially when you have the Optimistic Scavenger on the field. It does a lot. And you know, I'm going to run it out, even though the opponent seems to be on control. We might get hit by, hopefully it's a Day of Judgment control deck. Now I'm kind of thinking it's going to be, they're probably going to be on Jeskai Black. And Jeskai Black is going to represent Lightning Helix. They don't have a Lightning Helix. Okay, what do we scry into? Shardmage's Rescue. I think that's going to be pretty big. Okay, hit them down to 12. And we don't have anything to eat, but next turn we could possibly kill them. Not hexproof, huh? Okay, now next turn we're not going to kill them. I'm surprised they let the damage through. Maybe, you know, Shardmage's Rescue is such a worrisome card for spot removal. Probably what they were thinking. Okay, let's go with the Feather of Flight. We might be setting ourselves up for a blowout here, like to get blown out. Oh, Optimistic Scavenger for the following turn is going to be pretty good. Okay, attack in, scry, Ethereal Armor to the top. We keep that because that's going to be our win condition if we find ourselves an opening. Yeah, let's eat that. Sure. Okay, opponent, it's on to you. Do you have 3 steps ahead? That's digging. That's desperation. Do they have a board wipe? If they have spot removal, they're in trouble. And this is definitely going to be Jeskai Black. Okay, they don't have the board wipe. We have the Shelter by or Shardmage's Rescue. We also have the Optimistic Scavenger. So let's count some damage here. Do I need to put this out? I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? They have, yeah, this is going to be fine. It's fine. Okay, Ethereal Armor onto the Veteran. They're going to respond probably now. No more lies. I think we don't care, right? Because we do this one more time. I think this is enough damage. It's literally just enough damage, right? No, I counted wrong. I counted wrong. No. Oh no, now I'm in such a bad spot now. Why did I think it was 12? Why did I think it was 12? Oh no. My ethereal armors are not good enough and now I'm going to die. I'm going to die because of my own hubris here. Okay. A most helpful weaver, not bad. Let's put it on the field so that we get the optimistic scavenger pumped up to... It's the optimistic scavenger is not going to be big enough. I needed the scavenger. Oh God, thank you. Thank God. Oh, thank goodness. Hey, don't worry about that. Things are okay. Okay, time to go into the final game. I actually had to shut off the camera for a minute because it started to overheat. So we got to get this one done. So far, we have not lost. I shouldn't say that. The opponent saying hello makes me think that they are aware and ready to play. Opponent's having fun. Let's give him a yip yip and blow him a kiss. Yeah, there we go. All right, opponent had the Seam Rip, so I think I'm okay. Let's just slam the Spellbook Vendor onto the field. And I don't know, go from there. We'll see if we can start loading up some creatures with the Spellbook Vendor triggers. Is there any point to... No, let's just do it this way. So we will pay the 1. See what they do. They might have a flash creature. Bring in the little... I don't know what it's called. But tap down creature. We definitely don't want that. So, oh man, the Scry is so powerful. Spellbook Vendor having Vigilance also kind of insane. And I think I kind of want to have 2 Spellbook Vendors. So I'm going to risk the Veteran Survivor being tapped. Or not tapped, countered rather. And we'll see. I like the opponent. Very thematic. These, man, I don't know if I mentioned in another video before, but the track sleeves are so nice this time around. So very cool theming going on here from the opponent. They had Get Lost to remove our poor Spellbook Vendor. I don't like that very much. So let's just attack in with the Veteran Survivor. If they have a flash creature, that's going to suck, but that gives us the opportunity to get some other stuff on the field. We can eat their Get Lost. And now I think I'm going to go with the Wonder Weave Aerialist over the Spellbook Vendor. They might have another way of interacting. Get Lost doesn't get our Aerialist dead, though. Do I want to load up the Aerialist so much? Yeah, why not? If they end up having a Starcage Pinnacle, which is kind of the read that I'm getting, Seam Rip can Seam Rip their Seam Rip, but then I just get a Veteran Survivor back, so I don't think it's good enough. I'm going to toss it aside. There's a flash, not a flash creature. They're milling stuff. What is going on? Oh, I know somebody's going to love this deck. Abhorrent Oculus Helping Hand deck from the opponent. They put the octopus form into the graveyard, or sorry, into their hand, and now their Helping Hand bringing back the Abhorrent Oculus. We are in trouble. We're so in trouble. Oh, our Veteran Survivor wasn't able to be good graveyard hate. It's just graveyard hate. Okay, from here, what do we do? Do we give our Veteran Survivor flying? Let's try it. To the sky, Survivor. And we'll draw a card. It is Shelter by Ghost. Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to hit the Abhorrent Oculus with the Shelter by Ghost. I'm going to attack in with these two creatures first, see if they react. They do react. Destroy target attacking creature. I'm super fine with that. That gives me the opening now to Shelter by Ghost away this Abhorrent Oculus. And now this thing is full. Oh, do they have a Spell Pierce? Oh no, what am I doing? What am I doing? They have... Oh, I'm so stupid. I know they have the octopus form. I'm sitting here thinking that I'm a god genius to think these plans through, but they definitely have the octopus form right there. So they could have untapped the Abhorrent Oculus and had a very good block on us. I'm kind of glad they didn't do that. I'm throwing the game, boys. I'm throwing it away. They're at 5 life though. When did that happen? Okay, Shelter by Ghost. I think we actually take the Seam Rip because that is just going to ruin our day. So let's hit the Seam Rip. They can't octopus form the Seam Rip. We get back our Veteran Survivor, and now the Wonderweave Aerialist does have Ward 4. Going to be a little bit difficult for the opponent to deal with, and we can throw the Ethereal Armor on top of that. So maybe that could be a good attacker. But at the same time, they're going to be protecting the air with these pesky creatures. I really miss playing the mono blue deck because the mono blue deck has so much evasion in it. It doesn't matter if the opponent has flying blockers or whatever. Things can just like sneak in. Those little otters are so pesky. Okay, they have their Abhorrent Oculus trigger. Man, it's crazy that this card is not seeing more play. It is such a cool, awesome card. They have 1, 2, 3 mana available to them. I don't think there's any world where this Wonderweave Aerialist is at risk. But they could have ways of getting rid of the enchantments, in which case things would be real sketch. I have to try though. I'm not gonna win not attacking in with this Wonderweave Aerialist, especially against a deck like this. Okay, they have quite a bit of stuff in the air, but I think I have to attack in. We have first strike, so as long as they don't get rid of our Ethereal Armor, we're probably going to be okay no matter what they put in front of it. And they flip up a second Abhorrent Oculus. What a god. What a god. Okay, now we might be on the plan of loading up a second creature with the Spellbook Vendor's. You can only get one roll on these creatures, so it's kind of silly. You're not loading anything up. You're just putting one sorcerer roll on potentially the Veteran Survivor. But I think we just got to keep slamming in with the Aerialist, hoping that they don't put more of these like picklock pranksters in front of us just to keep us at bay. They are down to 4 life though. Okay, our opponent started to rope a little bit there. They are on 3 mana. So I'm assuming what their plan is to flip up one of these Manifest cards. They probably have a lot of options. Spellbook Vendors or Shardmage's Rescue is okay. Do I really want to put out the other one? Probably not. And I guess I'm just gonna, it makes, the rule is gonna make my Wonderweave Aerialist a little bit bigger because it has the Ethereal Armor. I'm not going to attack in with the Veteran Survivor. I'm just going to attack in with the Wonderweave Aerialist. Try to force them. Oh man, it's good. It's, you got to keep it, right? I think you keep it. Try to force them to block with the Abhorrent Oculus. They are stuck blocking, chump blocking with the Oculus. Maybe, so the face down cards could be a lot of things, but they could also just be lands. And if we get another vendor onto the field next turn with the Optimistic Scavenger, okay, you got me. You quenched me. That's fine. Still, Optimistic Scavenger coming down next turn. Spellbook vendor can start putting things out. We start getting +1/+1 counters here and there. And maybe we can sneak something in. We can also possibly get flying somewhere. What is that? Benevolent River Spirit. You never see this card? As an additional cost to cast this, Waterbend 5, Flying World 2, when this creature enters Scry 2. They might actually have one of those under one of these creatures, so we got to be very careful. And unfortunately, I don't have, next turn we don't have anything good. The Shardmage's Rescue is pretty good with the Optimistic Scavenger. Maybe we get in with the Veteran Survivor. It's going to be a 4/3, so they would have to, dang. What is that card? Did you guys know Triumphant is a card? What is this? Okay. What a battle we got going on here. They're just going to keep loading up. We got to find a flyer is what we got to find. And I think no, now I can't go in with the Veteran Survivor because they can. Is it crazy to go in with the Veteran Survivor knowing that it will die, but it will kill one of the Abhorrent Oculuses? They are down to 2 life. Why do they keep taking damage? What is killing my opponent? I don't know. Okay. Optimistic Scavenger definitely going onto the field. The Spellbook Vendor trigger definitely going here. The counter definitely going on the Veteran Survivor. And so if I attack like this and this, yeah, let's do it. We get 2 scries. This might be insane. It's not good enough. We don't want it. It's good, but it's not good enough. It's good. Is it good enough? I think I want flying, but I don't have a lot of flying. I'm going to keep the Most Helpful Weaver. I think it's just a good card. So we are going to keep that, and we are probably going to throw. That's surprising. They wait, what? No, opponent, no! You had to block the Veteran Survivor! I don't want to win like that. The opponent, that was turning into a cool game. I don't think I would have been able to win. This, honestly, some weird wins in this set of games, and I don't know what's going on tonight. Okay. All right, so this mono white Auras deck definitely got lucky. This string of games, we didn't drop any games going technically 8 wins, but we had that one opponent mulligan down to 0 cards and then concede. So it's 7 wins. And we also had a couple of wins that we probably didn't deserve the win. We had one opponent that just tossed in the towel. They were playing the Gruul deck. I think I probably would have been in trouble in that game if they had blocked with the Weaver. I can't remember exactly the details. And then that last game, for some reason, the opponent just didn't see the Veteran Survivor sneaking through the cracks. He moved his way through the manifest creatures and smacked the opponent for that last 2 points of damage. Kind of crazy. Anyways, the bones of this deck are pretty good, and I think if you play this enough, you're gonna climb no matter what. You have such powerful cards. Like I said in the intro, Most Helpful Weaver probably is the better craft of the 2 rares that are in the deck. But honestly, Spellbook Vendor, after playing a good chunk of games now with this card, impressed me so much. And I'm very happy that I have this card in my collection now. I might actually incorporate this card into some of my dual color Auras decks, because getting that repetitive Sorcerer's role is very good when you have the Optimistic Scavenger on the field. And then the Scry from the Sorcerer's role can't be discounted. Very powerful, very useful. Overall, I think this deck is pretty awesome for the price that you would pay when you're considering that something like the Allies deck is like 45 rare wild cards. Or just out of curiosity, how much would it be to do the Stompy deck? Mythic, rare, mythic. Of course, it's a mythic there. And you don't need these. You don't need these. We're not going to count them because you could just put in 4 forests. But the core of the deck, 4, 8, 12, 15 rares, and then another 13 mythics. Give me a break. So when you're looking at a deck like this, that's going to be performing quite well. 8 rare wild cards it'll cost you. You could get away with 4 wild cards. Pretty cool deck. I don't know over here. This card, little sketchy. Grand Entryway seems great. Armadillo, I don't know. Cute. I think I would go 4 Grand Entryways over 4 Spellbook Fenders. I would do that switch first. Keep the most helpful Weaver. I think it's a more powerful card overall than the Spellbook Fender. The synergy between this card and the Wonderweave Aerialist is just too fantastic. If you can give the Wonderweave Aerialist double strike on that 3rd tick, whatever it's called, and then it has an Ethereal Armor on it, like, you're just going to win the game most of the time. Anyways, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Have a great time playing this wonderful standard format that we find ourselves in. Sarange Ipuna. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.